guests on here, so I have to halfway act good. I have Evan Hunt. If y'all don't know about him, you will. Evan Hunt is running for Congress for District 3. And then we have Mr. Rodney Lee. You know, Rodney Lee, the judge. He's going to be the judge. I'm hearing myself. So we have Rodney Lee. He's running for justice of peace. And you know, if you need to get married, he got the peace to do it. And then one and only Dot and running for House District 97. We got a House District person on here. Yay! I'm so excited to have them all aboard. Thank you very much. So tonight, y'all, we got to talk about some things, okay? And I'm gonna bring my special guest up in a hot second. But tonight, we got to talk about politics because you know this is Politic Wednesday. And you know, let me go down the line. Greg Abbott done lost his mind. He wants to send the Texas Rangers out for our wonderful, so very proud of our Democratic warriors that's out there standing 10 toes down for democracy for all of us Texans out here. And I just love the fact that all the blue states are joining in and they said, we got your back. So I'm just loving this ride. And then, oh my gosh, I just don't know how to tell y'all. Ken Paxton decided he couldn't let Abbott outdo him. So he said, I'm going to call the FBI. So Paxton trying to call the FBI. I hope he was trying to call it on himself because somebody already need to be 10 foot down in the ground in jail. I ain't gonna call no name Paxton, but I should be good. I said I was gonna be good tonight. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna be good. Okay, I'm gonna try. But then we have all of these wonderful people who think that our legislators took off and ran away like they runaway slaves, and they are not nobody's slave. They are committed to the cause and they want to make a difference. And they said 99% of the people in Texas said they do not want redistricting, and I'm down with them. I'm supporting them on that because they don't just represent one group of people, they represent every single person that is in Texas. Because if you don't have anybody standing up for you, who will? And like I always like to say, if you don't stand up for something, you standing up for nothing. And the time is now. So I'm going to bring up our wonderful guest speakers tonight, and they're going to tell you about who they are. So I'm going to bring up Mr. Evan. Evan, you getting ready to come on here and to tell the people who you are.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.
All right, so I'm Evan Hunt. I'm running for Congress in Texas's third district against MAGA poster child Keith Self. You know, Nazi quoting, schoolyard bully, transgender, misgendering uh, bully Keith Self. And look, I'm running because this is not the country that I think our ancestors marched for and fought for. It's not the country I went to war for, and it's not the country that I want to leave to my children. I'm very concerned by just so many things that are going on today. Redistricting just being the latest in an endless array of assaults, like we were talking about, Steph. So I appreciate you having me on. We've got a really great campaign. We've got a strong volunteer staff. We've got a kickoff event tomorrow night in Collin County. So third district is made of Hunt County and Collin County. So that's McKinney, Allen, Plano, Frisco, Greenville, Princeton, and others in the area. And so our kickoff event is at the sanctuary. Starts at 6:30. You can find tickets at electevanhunt.com under events and listen to me talk a little bit more. But I could go on and on. I'll stop there. But again, thank you for having me.
Y'all, I know you guys are ready, and I have Diane from Tarrant County representing y'all. Let's bring on Miss Diane for Texas House District 97.
I'm bowing, but you don't know that because I'm sitting down. So, okay, just joking. So, I am Diane Simons. I'm running for Texas House 97, and I'm so thrilled to be able to represent, or even have the opportunity to represent Benbrook, Crowley, White Settlement, Southwest Fort Worth, and the TCU area. Uh, we have 195,000 people in our district, and well, they're a lot like me. They're struggling with something every single day. If that's putting food on the table, if that's health care, if that's disability, if they're worried about having Medicaid taken away, or not making enough money and about to lose their house. We don't know. And so that's why I'm running, because I do know what it's like to struggle. And I'm not going to shut up. So you might as well put me in the house. So that way, well, I can just keep talking and talking until they pass our things, because I'm about empowering people and enriching lives. And I don't see that currently in our government. They care about the billionaires and the money they're getting from their donors and how much money they can pocket. That's not what it's about. It's about you, the people. And that's what I'm here for.
All right. I am bringing Mr. Rodney on.
Hello, everyone. Again, thank you. My name is Rodney Lee, and I am running for Justice of the Peace Precinct 4. Now, the reason why I'm running is simple. It's because I believe that the court in that particular case is a community court. It's one where we've got to make sure that people not only know that we're here, but they need to understand why we're here. So one of the reasons why I'm here is simply many people know that we do marriages, and that's fine. But one of the things that we have to understand is that the justice of the peace really affects your day to day lifestyle. We deal with truancy, so many of you have students, kids that go to various schools. You need to understand what the truancy laws are about. We deal with what they call occupational licenses, which definitely deals with those persons who may have lost a license and but still need to deal with the day-to-day lives of taking your children doing very essential duties around that requires a car, and that's including going to your job. So we deal with a lot of things. You either know somebody or you yourself have had need to have a justice of the peace hear your case. And so I'm running because I want to bring back to our environment, to our communities, community court. So that's one of the major reasons that I'm running. And I often say we can do this together.
I love that. Well, I'm back, and I hope you guys are ready. Are y'all ready for these hot topics today?
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. And then at the end, we're going to let you do your elevator pitch and let people know how they can contact you. And let me tell you, let's talk about it. Stuff is definitely growing, and we are getting a lot of feedbacks from a lot of great people. So if y'all are on here watching, please make sure you subscribe, like, and share, because I'm telling you, this is the only place that you're going to be able to get more than one candidate on here and actually hear what they got to say. And if you have comments and you have a question that you would like to ask them, feel free to come on. I got you. I got you. Yes, I had to give myself a little clap there. Okay. So we're going to get into some of these hot topics here. So we're going to go ahead and get started because the elephant is in the room.
Okay,
Mhm.
go for it.
You ready?
Ready.
Okay.
So I am.
So Abby said, I am going to go send the Texas Rangers after our wonderful legislators, warriors who are out there fighting for us. Can y'all believe that?
It's unprecedented stuff.
True.
You know, it's unprecedented. It's not there is precedent for breaking quorum. You know, there's a rich history of that in Texas. But for the governor and for other elected officials to threaten arrest as if this is a criminal act is pretty frightening.
Yes.
Frightening.
It
And
is.
for me, it's a bit of a confirmation of stuff we've kind of known that's happening. Is that we're sort of transitioning to this authoritarian, fascist, one party regime that doesn't believe Democrats are represent half the population. They want to basically demonize half the population and pretend this is a one party state and a one party country. So it's terrible.
And I think in this case, many of our citizens really don't understand the whole ideal about redistricting anyway. Look, Texas is big. It is huge, and we have an influx of people who are coming in and leaving and so forth. And so, yeah, there is the need every now and then to go back, and in traditional cases, it's 10 years, but every now and then to go back and look at what is actually making up our citizenry in Texas. So it's not just a matter of, as many have said, the fact of gerrymandering. It's basically the reason why we're doing this and the timing. That's where the problem is. I appreciate anyone who goes in and attempts to do anything that improves, that make better our state. But when you get to a point where it becomes obvious what we're doing, then that's where the problem comes in, because it's not that one side has done it and the other hasn't. Now is the issue of why we are doing this thing. In a state where I believe, if the numbers are correct, and I was kind of researching this today, where 66, I think it's like 66% are minority and what have you, but we're being made up of 70% that
Mhm.
actually represent the 60. That's an alarming issue there. And now you're talking about removing some very vital seats that have to do with representation.
That's right.
So, for those who are listening, please understand this. This is not just Democratic hype. This is not just Republican stronghold. This is about essentially, what are you, the voter, going to do to ensure that your voice is heard? That's what this really. That's what this thing is really all about. And so,
Yeah.
if you want to make effective change, and you really, really want to make change, you got to get to the polls. I mean, we can, and I say this often, and I hope I don't become too redundant in saying, but marching and rallying, what it does, it points us to there's an issue here, but
Yeah.
voting makes the change. And so, if all we do is we march, we rally, or we leave so that there's not a quorum, and we don't vote, get prepared, because it's
Yeah.
going to pass, and we're going to be marching and rallying. But what they are not coming after is your vote. So this is very serious, ladies and gentlemen. You can't sit on the sideline with this one.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, Rodney and Evan, I think a lot of our issue right now is, Tarrant County started the redistricting, okay? And they sat there and meant anything that happened. I mean, we are the largest Republican city in the United States. They found out, hey, we got away with it. So, Texas, why don't you try it now? And so now we're at the Texas level. The next, it'll be at the United States level. And hey, what else can we do? And to fix it, because, hey, we're only supposed to be doing the census, which we only do every 10 years. So, on the 11th, 21st, 31st year of each year, okay, of each decade. And they went in, Tarrant County, and did redistricting with no new numbers. But yeah, you can say our population grew by 100,000, 200,000, but until you do a census and find out where in each precinct and actually draw the lines correctly, it's wrong. They did it wrong in Tarrant County, and the lines looked like a little snake went through it all, and there's no rhyme or reason whatsoever except for, sorry, it's racial. And they took the two Democratic areas, so that way it really will be represented by three Republicans going forward. And so that way, and when you only have four on the commissioner seat, and plus the judge, you're looking at a total of five. And right now we have 2 and 2 for commissioners. Well, so with not even gonna say his name, but with our judge there, that makes it three Republicans. And they really want to make it where after the election, if Democrats win the judgeship, it'll still be a 3-2, and we would not win. And so they're taking away DEI, they're taking away our housing solutions, they're taking away everything for the people. And for what? What matters? We matter, but until you show up to vote and take everybody with you, it's always going to be like this.
Yeah, I mean,
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
I mean, just because so it's clear to the listeners, because I've talked to a lot of folks that don't understand this. Like Diane said, this is supposed to happen every 10 years after the census. So that would mean we just did a redistricting in 2021. We are redistricting now because President Trump called Greg Abbott and said, "Find me 5 more seats in Texas." And that's because Texas is critical to winning the presidential election because of the flow of electoral votes from California and New York to Texas, right? So they are absolutely trying to game the system. And people say Democrats need to stay and fight. There's no staying and fighting. I mean, they're out. Democrats are outnumbered, so it's a losing battle, but it's also an immoral battle, right?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be having this discussion in the first place. We
True.
shouldn't be bending the knee to Trump and redistricting on demand. So this is about race and power. That's what this is about. And yeah, I'm proud of our representatives for fighting it and doing everything they can. And they're really, it's their only option is
Yeah.
to break quorum.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, hello, Dale. Welcome back.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry for being late. Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Dale, we got you.
Hey, good to see you guys.
Yes. So, Dale, I was trying to make sure that I was being good. So I think I only had one orange card at me. But hey, I'm glad you were able to come on here. So we're talking about this redistricting, and I almost slipped and said Hot Wheels, so I'm not gonna say that. But that man in Austin who is totally against DEI, he said he was gonna send the Rangers after the legislators who walked away or flew away to stand their ground for us. And Keith said, "Hi, Diane." And so now we have our wonderful Ken Paxton there. He wants to do one leg up and say, "Well, hey, I'm going to get the FBI involved." Now, y'all, I'm trying not to be messy today, but how you going to call the FBI when the FBI need to be investigating you? Aren't you in the middle of a divorce? I know you did something dirty. Your wife need to be calling a PI to be checking to see what did you do and how much did you spend of my money. That's what she needs to be doing. So while you dealing and stuff that's actually legal, you might need to make sure you're taking care of home first before you start doing all that. But I'm being good. But I'm just telling the truth. Handle your business. Let Abby handle his, even though it's the wrong way, and he shouldn't be doing this. We're in the middle of the year of the century or decade. And I'm like, why in the world are you trying to push these years of y'all? Doing so much to where we don't know what part of we what is what. And that is the craziest thing. I've never seen anything like this before. Every 10 years we have a census, and it seems like nobody cares. He
Well,
doesn't care.
I think it's an issue of not so much that they don't care; they're uninformed. You got to think about it. In this age of immediate information, be it social media, be it on our satellite TVs, or whatever it may be, too often we rely on 30-second sound bites. So I
Mhm.
don't think either side, and please hear me, I'm running as a Democrat, but I'm speaking as a neutral, being someone who's running justice at the peace. Is very important as a judge that we remain unbiased, that we remain neutral. But the neutrality here is simple. Why are we doing this? That's the question that we need to ask. Because in the midst of doing all this, notice what we are not doing. And I'm not talking about Democrat or Republican. I'm talking about just as people. Notice what we're not doing. If you go ask that person who lost a loved one up in the hill country there behind the flood, you ask them about what's their life like. You really think they care 2 cents about uh, this redistricting? Of course not, because when they wake up in the morning, wherever they may be, their loved one is not sitting right there, and no one's addressing that. When you look at somebody who's going to the grocery store and prices are still high, be it for gas, eggs, or whatever you want to say, no one's really questioning. I'm talking about the citizens. They're not questioning this redistrict. You have to notice who is the one that's pushing this agenda,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and that's the problem that we have. We've gone beyond. We've gone beyond figuring out who we are serving. Look, we get into these various seats because there are persons who vote for us. There are persons who trust us that we're going to do exactly what we're going to do. When did that get lost? When did it get lost that just being decent has become now not the most popular thing to do? It's about who can outshout each other. It's about who can out yell each other. Who can put forth the most intriguing 30-second soundbite so that hey, you will believe what I'm saying, and then only to find out that you got to be fact checked because most of what you said wasn't true. That's the reason why I'm running for office
I mean,
because. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying that's right, Ronnie. I mean, there's this winning at all costs mentality. No matter who you got to lie to, no matter who gets hurt, it's just we got to win. We got to own the libs. We got to uh, game the system and cheat, frankly. And America historically has always been about winning's important and winning should be rewarded, but it's really about doing the right thing. Doing the right thing is the most important thing, and honoring the Constitution, our democracy. And to your point, they started this redistricting with this sham letter from the Department of Justice that said that they need to redistrict on constitutional grounds. And then there's been zero discussion about that.
Right.
Um, so yeah, this goes beyond redistricting. It goes to the soul of our nation, right? And to your point, what politicians are supposed to stand for, and we're supposed to represent all people. We're supposed to mostly represent the Constitution and our democracy and the sanctity of our organization, of our institutions, and that's just it's been lost under the current administration. I hope we can get back to it.
Well, and special elections should only be called for special reasons. Okay. Don't just sit there and they added redistricting because they know how we feel about the flood victims and how that needs to be resolved ASAP. They need to be able to find funding and help these poor people out that have lost every single thing and still missing as well. And for them to sit there and want to add redistricting on top of this is just, oh God, it's sad. They could have done anything else, but they really want to put this and they put it on top of the agenda where this has to be the very first thing that passes before they go to anything else. Oh my gosh, does this remind you of school vouchers at all? They want to
Yeah.
pass not
Yeah.
one other thing until school vouchers get passed. No matter how bad it is, we'll let it go. We'll let every public school get defunded and closed down. We don't care about the students because we want to pass that voucher.
And let me be quite honest here, because again, it depends on what news feed you look at that determines your argument. But at the end of the day, and I asked prior to us coming on what each of us are running for. When we get elected, we're not elected just for the Democrats. We're not elected just for the Republicans.
Right.
I'm running for justice of the peace precinct for. I'm justice for all. That means anyone who comes into my courtroom they have to have the feeling, they have to have the assurance that they at least have a fighting chance when they come into my courtroom, a fair chance. Under this current situation, when you speak to most of our citizens who don't study it as well as workers, they're not running for office, and that's not a pun, that's not a negative statement. We have taken the time to try to sharpen our tools so that our arguments can be solid. And because we've done that, that's the reason why we have some of the information that our normal citizens just will not have. We have to be able to communicate to the fact of this. Look, even if you did not vote for me, if you come into my courtroom, you're going to receive fair treatment. As I said the other day, if you come into my courtroom and your cases are identical, and you will get the identical result. So we have to get back to a point where we quit villainizing one another. Look, my opponent is not he's not my villain. I don't hate this guy. We just have difference of opinions. And when did we lose the ability to share think tank opinions where we may disagree, but we're not enemies? Because at the end of the day, we all live in Texas. All of us are Texans. And so we have to do what's the betterment for Texas and not just for ourselves. Because if you're that selfish, please don't run for office.
Hey, you speaking the gospel to the choir, and I think a lot of people need to take heed to that, because some people go into politics for the fame. It sure isn't for the money on the state level, because you gotta love what you do and try to do what you gotta do to help the people. Because trust me, y'all, they only make $7,000 a year. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
And
I
they're
believe,
fined $500 a day right now when they're breaking quorum.
Mhm.
yeah, $500 a day is what they're having to pay, and I'm like, and then you have Ken Paxton said, "We're gonna go look and see if it's bribery."
Yeah.
Out of all the people
All the people. Well,
that's in Texas, you the last person that needs to say anything about bribery. You need to be quiet. I'm telling you, Paxton, do me a favor and sit this one out, because you getting yourself deeper and deeper in trouble.
Go buy another house.
Yeah, go do something. Go do something, because right now you're getting yourself in deep trouble. Deep trouble. So just be quiet. Just be quiet. Sit back and be quiet. I'm putting you in the corner, Paxton. I'm
I
putting you
mean,
in the corner.
this is the
Because
problem. You know, our democracy is supposed to work with healthy compromise and debate
Exactly.
between both sides.
Exactly.
And we've got this dialogue. We're so divided where we're trying to demonize and criminalize the other side. And really what that is fear mongering. It's a fear tactic. And people do weird things when they're scared.
Hmm.
You know, I mean,
yeah,
the job of a leader, like Rodney was saying, the job of a leader is to make people feel safe, make people feel heard. And that is not what's happening right now. I mean, all of us get, like, I get the tingles under my skin when I hear, oh, they're calling the FBI on James Tellerico. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Like, James Tellerico is a great American, and he's just one of many. We shouldn't be, and you can't underestimate a threat from the governor or a threat from the FBI. Like, that is not something you just sort of ignore, but
exactly.
it is a scary, scary problem.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
And you know what? And we have a lot of young people that are. I'm old, y'all, so that's why I say young. So don't be offended. But we have a lot of younger people that are in office for the first time, and they're, like I said, they are walking away from their jobs and everything, from their family. Some of them are just beginning into their law practice and stuff, and they having to step away until, what is it, the 19th, I believe. I think it's the 19th, and it's $500 a day of fine. And then on the back of your mind, like me, I don't want to ever have to go to jail, but the thought of maybe having to go to jail, that's scary.
Yeah.
I don't care if you are a veteran and you've done this before. That's a scary thing, for especially for a freshman coming in trying to do the right thing. I've read a couple of comments that someone had about Representative Hernandez, and I'm like, now y'all leave my girl alone. She's good people. She's gonna stand up there and fight. She might not get it right all the time, but she's one of those ones that's gonna actually listen to what you have to say. Don't do her like that. They're new, they listen, and this is what we ask for them to do. And it's legal for them to walk away from the state in order to save us, because somebody got to save us. And if ain't nobody coming in here to save us, we got to save ourselves. And that's what's happening
True.
right now.
And it's
Yeah.
in the Texas Constitution about breaking quorum.
It
Yep.
is.
Yep.
So it's not, for the FBI to get involved in it or anything else. This is what you do. If you can't
Yep.
meet quorum, then we have to wait.
And to be honest, even if it was illegal, which it's not, it is perfectly legal. But even if it was, I would view this as a form of civil disobedience. And again, I say civil, right? No one's being violent. No one's getting shot. They're literally just moving their body to another location in the country out of protest. And I commend that. Um, and we'll go back to Evan's point. It is a deeply unfortunate situation that we find ourselves politically in the United States, where it's easier for politicians to attack somebody, and it's more difficult to lift people up. Our jobs are to lift people up, but it's so much easier to just attack somebody or call someone else, um, the woke or whatever, because that way they don't need to look at the policy. Because one thing that I notice that Republicans seem to fail at, if they ever do go into a debate with Democrats, is that when we talk about the policies, they're always needing to shift to, I think, the border at this point. It's not healthcare anymore. But
Right.
when you demonize Democrats, liberals, sometimes we're called socialists, sometimes we're called Marxists or whatever, that's their way of attacking in a way where they don't need to talk about the politics. And
Sure.
also, just Stephanie, what you were saying is, yeah, they're attacking and they're being very, very vicious with their language. And there's like a lot of young people, a lot of freshmen, and I think that's the point. They know that they're going to have a hard time forcing the legislature back and establishing quorum. But if they can scare some of the new freshmen state house representatives into coming back, I think that's what they're betting on, and I think that's why their language has become so reasonably vicious. It's because it's just
Yes.
one more utility that they have at their belt, right? Because it's more difficult to go through the legal process and try to say. I think Ken Paxton said he wanted to remove the legislatures from their power and have like a new special election uh, immediately, right? But obviously, like legally speaking, that's almost impossible to do, especially with time constraints. But it's easier to harass them and threaten them and make them feel scared, so that maybe they come back on their own. But it is a deeply unfortunate situation.
Yeah. Well, we got a question in the comment. Dr. Kenneth asks, so what do you guys think about the six refs that didn't break? Um, I'm a, I'm gonna slightly answer this question because Dr. Candace Matthews said that they're gonna get primary. So I kind of agree with that. I don't. In part two of that, you're a minority. You the last person that need to break. I'm just saying, you are a minority in the district that they're trying to get is probably in your district. So I would have been one of the ones that didn't show up. You could have went to New Mexico. You could have went. You six should have went to California.
Well, and
That's
let me
what you
say
should.
this, and I appreciate Dr. Matthews' question and comment. I've seen some her activism. And I appreciate that. Uh, but again, I go back to my earlier point, though, and she spoke about being primary. Uh, that's where the power comes in. See, we're spending too much time with what I call the water cooler conversation, where we're not showing up at the polls. And
Mhm.
we had some rallies, and I won't name the city so I can make a full statement. We had some rallies in certain cities, and there came out the article, oh, it was a very peaceful rally. We're so appreciative. Notice they're applauding that, but what they're not doing is they're applauding people showing up to the polls. Look, at the
Mhm.
end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we can complain all we want to. If
Mhm.
you're not going to show up when it's time to play on the field, all of what you've done before that time period means absolutely nothing, because what they're coming out of is your ability to make that choice. The ability to select whoever it may be that you want to select, that's what they're coming after. Because they know if you really get alarmed and you start making a choice in the ballot box, watch and see if stuff don't start changing. But they're applauding us. And again, I say to you, the rally, the protest, they are necessary to alert people what's going on. But if all you do is sound the alarm, but then you don't respond, what good is that? So I agree with her that if you are in disagreement with, and I'm speaking that way because I'm running for judge, if you're in disagreement, the best way to demonstrate your power, vote. Primary,
Exactly.
and if that's what it needs to be, then do it. But don't sit on the sidelines drinking water and talking about what we should have. No, don't should have. Do it.
And if
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that is the reason why y'all are on this show now to put plan into place.
and some may,
Go ahead, Diane.
some may need to be primaried. I agree with that. But however, we also don't know what's going on inside their districts, where they need to be. We also don't know what's going on in their personal life. Maybe one of them may be having a new baby or a granddaughter. I mean, would you have left, Rodney, if you were going to not get to see your granddaughter?
Well, to answer your question though, here's the deal. And no, and I hear you fully. I hear you fully. But please understand, when we take this kind of like what I said before. It's easy for me to sit in my armchair, say, "Man, I can't believe Dak threw that interception." I don't have a 300-pound dude coming running to me. I got more than 4 seconds to make a decision,
Right.
and so it's easy for me to make those statements and what have you. But those persons who are in those various communities that Dr. Matthews was talking about, if they are not representing, be it Democrat or Republican, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
If they are not providing the representation that you feel that community needs, yes, they need to be primary. Yes, they need to be
Yes.
voted out. But they do not get voted out by protest. They do not get voted out by rally. They get voted out because you go to the polls. It takes less time to vote than it does to march.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, look,
Yeah.
I kind of agree with all the above. All forms of activism are great. Like I think the protests have been fantastic around here. The No Kings, the hands off.
Mhm.
It's activated the base at a time where we need to be active.
Sure.
You're right, though. It doesn't mean much, Rodney, if we don't follow it up with actually going to the vote. And frankly, in general, I mean, I would like Democrats to be less focused on each other. Right? There's a lot of Democrats dogging other Democrats,
Yep.
and in Texas, it's all hands on deck. Like the
Mhm.
cavalry's not coming. Nobody's coming to help us. So Texans got to stick together. And I'm with you, Diane. We got to give people grace. I mean, it's going to come out. There's going to be a lot of spotlight on these six that didn't. I kind of feel bad for them because maybe they had real good reasons, and they're going to have to defend that, especially if this whole thing's successful, right? But this is a big decision for people to make, to leave the state, to leave their families, to risk jail time. And we all know what it's like in Texas. I mean, at the end of the day, Greg Abbott's probably going to have his way. And I sure hope not. But what if his way also includes people going to prison? I mean, that is, I don't judge anybody until I know the full story. And I think the people representatives certainly deserve our grace. I think they're going to miss out on what's a great example of civil disobedience, like Dale said. I think I feel kind of bad for him on all fronts, but it's not an easy decision.
So
Yeah, I
I
guess
have this question. Do y'all think that maybe they were threatened?
I'm not quite sure about that. It's hard to say and
No.
it's hard to speculate. I will say this. This is something I found interesting. So I was chat GPTing this and then pulling up the Ballotpedia articles. So the representatives is Moody from El Paso, uh, Bunzo from Hildgoat County area, Representative Martinez from Weslaco area, Representative Kennels from, I don't know how to pronounce this, Edinburgh area, Representative Raymond from the Laredo area, and Representative Longoria from Mission, South Texas. And I was pulling up their Ballotpedia articles, and these are very, very, very solid blue areas. A lot of these guys have run for office and have not even faced a primary before. And I'm sorry, have not even faced a Republican in the last election. I'm seeing a lot of these guys have actually won their seats by default. And I think I only saw two of them actually face a Republican in the last general election, and the Democrat won by a landslide. So it's interesting that these are very solid blue areas. Because I was thinking to myself, it should be the other way around. Like if you're going to not break quorum, I would expect that to be a Democrat who lives in a very purple area and is nervous about party retaliation from the other side of the line. But that's actually not what I'm seeing here. So I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there for clarification. Definitely.
And I
But
guess the
I
only
think
way to
people
get to
started
the
looking
truth.
at the maps though
Mhm.
and how they're done. When you're looking at one representative from El Paso all the way to San Antonio, 430 something miles, come on, that is not representation, period. I mean, nobody can sit there and take care of that many people. Try going to that office and seeing if you find them. It's hard enough to get Craig Goldman. Oh, wait, you can't get a star. Tried that.
Well, my response to that question is simply this: I don't know if they're threatened or not, but that's where conversation comes in.
Mhm.
We look. I'll give you a story. I was outdoor knocking, and the guy meant well. And trust me, I appreciate it. I never will turn down any votes. Please hear me clearly, anyone who's listening. But when I knocked on his door, he said to me, he said, "Man, you had my vote the moment I saw the pigmentation of your skin." I said to him, "While I appreciate that you will vote for me, don't let me off that easy." The problem is we're letting each other off too easy. And I'm not talking about inner fighting in the Democratic Party or whatever. I'm speaking to the citizens here. Stop letting us off that easy. Look, if we're not cutting the mustard, I don't care what party you're with. If you're not cutting the mustard, you're just simply not cutting the mustard. We need to move on. And so I appreciate what Dr. Matthews said because look here. If I'm not representing you the way you need to be represented, I do not need to be in that office. The reason why I'm running for this office, because I have over 30 years of courtroom experience. The reason why I'm running for this office, because I'm sick and tired of people coming and making promises every 4 years and then you don't see them anymore. I'm tired of seeing where we have created such a toxic environment where we feel like that seat belongs to us. Really? If you really want to know the truth of this matter is that when we're running these campaigns, we are interviewing just like you're interviewing for a job. And what
Yeah.
should happen is the best person gets the job. That's what should happen. Not the one who
Mhm.
has a D behind his name, not the one who has an R behind his name, not the one whose pigmentation look like the other. What should happen is if my values align with your values and my history aligns with what I said I would do, then yeah, I deserve every right to sit in this seat and represent you. But if not, you need to go and get that other person because when we get elected, we don't get elected just for some. We get elected for everyone. Remember, we're all Texans here.
Exactly.
And the fact of the matter is that if we're going to do this, we got to have enough courage to say, even if it means negative, I'm going to make this thing happen.
Well,
And that's
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
government to go to term limits on that.
Yeah. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. We got a comment. I'm gonna have to bring him on up here. Dr. Morgan, he said we are at a point where democracy is at risk. We don't act and do it swiftly. All we have fought for will cease. And then he goes, second part, in the famous words of Sam Cooke, a change is going to come. Oh yes, and that is
Yes,
one of my favorite. That is one of my
yes,
favorites.
yes.
Well, yeah. The diamonds are forged under pressure, right?
Mm.
The
Mhm.
sharpest weapons are forged in fire, and this is not business as usual. So too much of politics is counting numbers and, oh yeah, I'm in a blue district, so I'm just going to win this. I don't have an opponent. I mean, competition is good, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
Yes.
The Democratic Party needs to be focused on flipping seats. So there's been too much infighting in the Democratic Party. We need candidates who are willing to step up and, to Rodney's point, engage with people on issues, right? Go knock doors and talk to people and talk to independents that are the majority of the country that's not actually paying that close attention to politics, that really will, if you just get to them, focus on the individual and not just vote along party lines, but you got to get to them. So
Those
Yes.
undecided.
But
yeah,
they're bringing up the redistricting, so we're not sitting there talking about the issues that they have stirred up.
that's exactly right. That's
Mhm.
exactly right.
We
So
need to
it,
be talking about raising minimum wage. We need to be out there talking about healthcare. We need to talk about putting food back on these shelves where these people can afford it. That's what we need to talk about. We need to talk about the people that are struggling and how we can get them lifted up.
that's right.
Amen.
The there's a common complaint even among Democratic constituents that they're just tired of hearing all candidates just talk about, preach to the choir about,
Yeah,
Trump and
yeah,
MAGA and the Republican Party. And it's hard as a candidate because there's this array of attacks all the time, right? There's just one bad news story after another, and then you got to respond to it. But Diane, you're right. We need to be offering a bold vision for the future, right? A bold vision for how we're going to help people and how government's going to work for people, how we're going to put an end to poverty, how we're going to protect our benefits, how we're going to reform the tax system so that it works for everybody, how
exactly.
how we're going to make this country operate for 99% of people, not
Right.
not just the top 1%. I mean, the middle class is shrinking. The billionaire class is the fastest growing class in the country.
Hmm.
As Talarico says, it's not left first right, it's top first bottom.
Hmm.
And we got real problems to focus on. So in a way, with redistricting, I think we do everything we can to fight it.
Yeah. I
But
mean, Texas lost 16,000 jobs last month alone. 10,000 of them were here in the Metroplex.
That's right.
That's not going in the right direction.
It's
And
not.
that's
It's
Not for
and
us.
not.
that's why
We are the best.
that's why we have to encourage our citizens to ask the questions. Because, let's say, okay, let's just say, and it probably will, but let's just say
Mhm.
this goes through the redistricting and what have you. What is that going to do for the person who goes to the grocery store? Uh, Eggs are just ridiculous. What does that
I
do? We're
just
getting ready
paid
to
a
go back
dollar
to
87 for bread.
we're getting ready to go back to school. What does that do for that student who, quite honestly, they didn't get to take a vacation?
that's right.
They were at home, and because we attacked certain things, they didn't get a meal every time they opened the ice box, and
Yep.
so they're wondering, okay, what about me, or what about this person who, uh, my mother suffers from dementia, so the person who may be suffering from mental health. What is this redistricting does for now? If you can tell me this redistricting will solve those issues, okay, I'm 100% on board. But we understand one thing: what we are not doing as elected officials, as candidates, we are not making the main thing the main thing. And people, please hear me. If you're looking at me, please understand you are the main thing. Period. You are the main thing. And so, yes, I applaud all of them that walked away. I applaud every single one of them because they took a stance. But here's what I would applaud even more. When you take a stance and we together go to the polls and say, you know what, we're tired of this foolishness. We're ready to put an end to this nonsense. And by ending this nonsense, I guarantee you, you start voting some people out of office. Watch and see if these philosophies and these principles and these mentalities don't change. But right now, they're saying we don't even respect you enough to change because we know that you're going to count on 30-second sound bites to form your opinion about those who you've never met.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I said before, Mr. Lee, that is one of the reasons why we have, let's talk about it, to give candidates the opportunity to come on here and let people see who they are and even ask questions to hear. Because when you go to these events, Dell and I both know you got 2 minutes to say something about yourself. Trust me, I can talk, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm a preacher's kid.
Yeah.
I can't talk about myself in 2 minutes. I'll try, I'll break it down a little bit, but I want you to get to know me and understand that I'm on the same level as you. I'm a working class person that want to make sure that you have the same opportunities that I have and pass the buck on because like I was talking to Diane earlier today, I'm an insurance agent. And the worst thing as an insurance agent is you're talking to a client and you know they need insurance because they got 7 kids. And guess what? They can't afford to get just the basic $15,000 policy because it's out of their budget. So they got to go without having the life insurance that they need if something happens to them. Their family is still going to be put in a hole. And Lord, don't let it be the main caregiver of the house, the one to put all the money in,
Yeah.
and they don't have the insurance. They're going
I
to call,
mean,
they're going to go fund me.
Steph, I talk about this all the time. We've reached this point that even if you got a good job, you're everybody in this country, except for the billionaires, is like one medical disaster, one
For
environmental
sure.
disaster away from
Yes.
bankruptcy.
Yep.
It
Yes.
should not be that way. And it hasn't always been that way in history. You know what I mean? We've
Right.
been they've been steadily breaking down the safety nets that were fought for in society to help people. Like we all have bad luck sometimes. Like you
Sure.
got
Sure.
floods, you got cancer, you got colonoscopies, like we were talking about earlier. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
government is supposed to be there to catch you when you fall and then lift you back up so you get on your way. Because
Sure.
most Americans want to go work. They want to do well. They want to transition from the lower class to the middle class. Everybody thinks they're going to get rich. But if we get rid of all these safety nets and we continue in the direction we're going, we're gonna have a real gap between the rich and the poor,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard to live that American dream.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's reminding me of a line I'm going to steal from James Tallarico. He says it's not a fight right now between the left and the right. It's a fight between the top and the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mhm.
these
Yeah.
rich elites that we have who care more about themselves
Mm-hmm.
than their constituents. And unfortunately, a lot of politicians get paid off. They get, I would even dare say, compromised to the point
Yes.
where they care more about their donors than they do about their constituents, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's funny with billionaires. Like, I'm not even sure they don't care, but they don't live in a little place called Earth. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah.
you're Trump and you inherited, you're a trust fund baby. You might be a nice person, but you don't understand what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. You
Exactly.
don't understand what it's like to be broken by one stroke of bad luck. So
Mm-hmm.
they're good people. They're just misguided. They don't understand that the majority of humanity doesn't have a safety net.
Mm-hmm.
And the government usually works for people, right? That when
Mhm.
you're a billionaire, you don't need anybody. You don't need anybody. You
I mean,
go
they're
you go
okay
make
with giving away our health care, but dang it, they're getting Medicare.
it.
Yeah,
Mm.
You know,
it's kind of funny.
Yeah, but
You were
that's
talking about. Oh,
let
sorry.
them get paid
to the
minimum
point
wage
where
and see if they want to raise minimum wage.
we got another comment. I feel like I need to bring Dr. Morgan on here because he's just putting the comments in. Let me
I
see
see
where I
him
can go
coming
look.
on next Wednesday.
Yes, y'all, Dr. Kenneth Morgan, he will be on here next Wednesday at 7
Yeah.
p.m. And
Yeah.
I know he's ready to pop on here right now.
Oh, you know he is. I've been seeing his little.
Yeah.
He's nice
Yes.
guy.
Yes, he said, hold on, let me go to his comment right quick because he had several. Okay, he said, while much is happening, a critical issue has flown under the radar. The enhanced premium tax credit expiration on December 31st, 2025. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
And come January 1st, 2026, affordable health care access will be severely impacted with the expected monthly health care costs increasing of 75%. This
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even account for potential changes from the BBB. Y'all, let me tell you something. Some of us that's on here right now got to go to the doctor and go have some procedures and stuff done. And I told her, I feel like they already done passed the the charges to me. I kept asking my husband. I said, "Wait a minute, I have insurance. Why am I having to pay the doctor $1,300?"
Yes.
It makes no. I'm like,
Yes.
I met my deductible, but I'm still having to pay even more. This
Mm-hmm.
is getting crazy. So you're gonna have more people that's in a situation where they have to decide: do I pay my mortgage or my rent, or do
Right.
I have this procedure done? So it's gonna be a problem. It is a problem, and
I mean,
that's something that
the
needs to
big
be fixed.
beautiful bill is exactly a great example of what Rodney was talking about. It is a missed opportunity. It is
Mm-hmm.
1,000 pages of legislation. Think about all the political power and energy that went into passing that thing, no matter how bad it is. Imagine if they were focused on really doing great things in society for the
Mm-hmm.
average person in those 1,000 pages, instead of focusing on adding 50 billion to ICE, adding 150 billion to the military, which doesn't need it. I'm a 20-year Air Force veteran, didn't need more money, it just needs
Mm-hmm.
restructuring.
Mhm.
And then cutting benefits for the most needy because we have this obsession with,
Mm-hmm.
or some folks have an obsession with handouts, right? We need visionary legislation, and it's a missed opportunity to really
Right.
implement serious changes that could have been good for society.
Or
Yep.
gifted a free plane that's going to cost us how many million? Yeah, to
That's
go
right.
to the presidential
And
library.
he gets to take it with him.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
right. I mean,
So since
there's
you
tons
went
of fraud, waste, and
there,
abuse. It's just not
For
where they
sure.
were
For
looking.
sure. For sure.
yeah, and with the cutbacks that have been happening, right? Why would you tear down the rose garden at the White House? And why would you go and put this concrete patio place there? And why would you go and redecorate the White House to gold, which makes no sense to me?
Hmm.
Why would you do all those things if you're not planning on leaving?
hmm
You
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you holding about waste. You wasted money on your birthday. You wasted money on buying accepting this stupid plane. You
Golf
wasted
trips.
money on
Yeah. Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
he has done more golf trips than he has been at the White House solving actual problems that we have here in the country. So that's gonna move us to this next section
and they
about
busted
the
him cheating on golf too. That was great.
huh?
And they got him busted cheating on golf. His caddy threw the ball back. I was like, oh my god, he can't even do
Well,
that.
Y'all, I
and
can't
let
make
me
this stuff up.
and let me just say this because I was asked this, and I love when I run into persons who challenge me. They said to me, and it was in relations to my office, but I'll make it viable for what we're talking about as well. They said, why should we even care about a justice peace? And I said, that's a fair question. That's an exact fair question. They said, why should we care? We don't give a darn about that. I said, you don't care because you don't know. So again, we're not talking about unintelligent people. We're talking about uninformed people. And so what we as candidates, we as elected officials have to make relevant our offices so
Mhm.
that people understand that if we don't do our job, it doesn't just hurt one party, it hurts everyone. That's the
Mhm.
problem. The problem is that we're not selling it well enough to let them understand this is not about Democrat, as you said, versus Republican. This is about when Medicaid is cut, it's cut not just for the Democrats, it's cut for the Republicans as well. It's not cut just for
Exactly.
the independents, it's cut for everyone. So when that person has to go to the doctor, a brand new baby, and get immunization shots and can't afford it, who cares about what party you running under?
And what
My
about
baby
grandpa?
needs immunizations.
No, the milk. Have you seen how much it costs to get formula? I'm
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I just would not been able to do it. But we got Tony on here says that folks need to get involved. I agree with you
They
100%,
do.
Tony. People do need to get involved. And we have Ellen says, okay, it just disappeared. Oh, it's about right versus. Yeah, I could say that. Right versus wrong and wrong versus right.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not even just top versus bottom. I mean, we have this fundamental war in politics right now about people that believe in the power of government to make things better and people that don't.
Right.
And what we've done is we've elected a whole bunch of people to government that don't believe that believe government is evil, that believe government is
Hmm.
corrupt and you can't trust government and we need to take a chainsaw to government and we need to cut programs, we need to cut departments like the Department of Education. And I say it's like people. I mean, if you meet somebody who doesn't trust anybody else, it's usually because they're not trustworthy. So
Exactly.
why are we
Yep,
electing government bureaucrats that don't trust the government to do good? We're literally electing people to tear down things or ignore them because we need to elect candidates and Democrats can be this party that believe in the power of government reform to affect the average person, make life better for people.
Yes.
But you know
Yes.
what?
Um,
Yesterday was a bad day in Tarrant County for our local officials. I just have to say this real quick. Our city council took away our housing solutions.
hmm
Okay. And let me just say that we did have a Democrat that sided with the Republicans. We had two in our city council that voted Democrats to side with the Republicans to get rid of DEI. You know, that was a little, I'm a little turk today about it. And I'm okay with some of them getting primary because you know what? They're not there for the people.
right.
And
And then
that's what it's got to
Tarrant
be
County,
about.
your commissioner over there. Only one. Alicia is the only one standing down, trying to hold it together. I feel bad for her because she's doing everything she possibly can do to try to keep it together. And every step that she takes is like they pull her 15 feet back. And those are the people that we have to make sure that we protect. And to those that are listening, please make sure that you subscribe, like, and share, because we're going to be having a lot of great hot topics on here, and y'all are more than welcome to come on here and talk your talk, because this is what it's all about. But this month and next month, I definitely want to make sure I bring in the candidates on here so they can talk about real talk, and not the 2 minute elevator stuff that we have to do at these events and stuff like that. Get to know these candidates on a personal level, because like we were talking about earlier, just about all of us on here right now, we got to go to the doctor. So
Because we're old.
you,
Maybe it's politics. Maybe it just
man, I'm
not good for
hating
the
that.
health.
Yeah.
Tell you, I was told I couldn't have any caffeine. I'm like, have to drink pure water, and then they tell me, "Oh, you gonna drink water for a whole hour or two?" Please
That's
don't
my
do that.
last caffeine
That's
till
not my
tomorrow
type.
morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Diane, that's not my type.
That ain't my type either, but hey.
Yeah, but we definitely make sure that we got to hit these issues, because it's so very important. And I agree with all of y'all. We have to have candidates that actually care. We have to have people that are sitting in office that actually care about the people. Like we said on Monday, Rodney, empathy. If
Yes.
people do not have empathy, you're not going to do good by the people. You got to show some form of empathy in order to be in this business. Like right now, Governor, you're wrong. The first thing
Mhm.
that you should have done was take care of those people down in Kerrville. That should have been the first thing. Everything else, you could have came back to tabled that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
But instead, you focusing on the people that matter. 133 Texans lost their lives
Mhm. Mhm.
in our house.
Yeah.
And you show no empathy. None of y'all show no empathy for these people. And what are you going to say to that mom or that dad who lost both of their kids, or that
Right.
man that had lost his whole entire family? They
Mhm.
going to need mental health.
Mhm.
Y'all need to be giving them free mental health counseling for the rest of their life, because they're gonna need that. Because anytime it rains or the river, they're gonna be thinking of that right there. They're gonna have PTSD. What are your plans to protect those folks?
Mhm.
And all those first responders that saw and smelt the bodies.
Can you
Mhm.
imagine? Can
And
you
seeing
imagine?
the little teddy bears and everything that breaks our heart when we see it on TV. And
Yes.
people are so strong to be able to go out and do that. I mean, such hard work in Texas heat, and they were there. And now for them to
We
have to sit there, it's just, oh my God, I just can't imagine I mean, the PTSD and everything else that follows it. I mean,
I mean, this is the thing. Thoughts and prayers are fine on social media, but if
Exactly.
you are in government,
Thank you.
we got to do the work. You
Yes.
do the work, right?
no photo
Faith
ops.
without work is dead, right? I mean,
Period.
we
Mhm.
should be focused on how we avoid another disaster than this, how we help the victims, how we mitigate the suffering. You're right. All that discussion should have come way before we're trying to do something to
I
make
mean,
Trump
we are in
happy.
hurricane season now. And we
Right.
go when the next month is usually when we have a lot more rain that comes up, especially because I know it's usually the first weekend of college football for those football fans. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about because the games are
Yeah.
always delayed or moved or something. But we got to get this in place now. It's going to take a while to get alarms and bells and whistles or whatever they have to build up at the rivers where there's really nothing right now, but people want to go back.
Should
You know,
That's
have.
really the story. Is they never should have tied the redistricting to the flood conversations for the special session.
no,
Never.
they
So
Never.
that is
Never.
politicizing the flood.
Right.
And they could have had another special session to deal with redistricting if they really wanted to, but tying the two is blackmail.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's blackmail to our democracy. It's terrible.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's the problem with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows that not only is it not a priority, but they'll use it as a utility, and that's very
Mhm.
ruthless. It just shows just to what level they
Hmm.
care more about holding on to power over our own safety and our own lives.
Hmm.
I'm wondering if they're gonna give that town another $10 million, and will they actually do what they're supposed to do? Because they did receive it, so I'm not gonna play around. I'm gonna speak it like it is. They received $10 million, and they chose allegedly was they chose not to use it for what it was meant to be. So I'm not gonna dump on people while they hurt, kick them while they down. But sometimes you gotta quit thinking about parties and think about the people. Because had you had system in place, maybe you would have been able to save more than 133 people that had passed.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
you would have been able to save half of them.
If you could
So
just saved one life, it would have been worth it.
exactly, exactly. And I'm quite sure it might be still bodies out there that we don't know of that haven't been accounted for. You know, what's going and you just said, Diane, that we're getting ready to go into we are in hurricane season right now. I just watched the episode of Katrina, and
Hmm.
y'all do not always listen to what the media tells you, because a lot of times they be lying and they don't go into depth like they should. You know, the old school reporters used to get down and dirty and go right where the sources are at. Some of these people, they go chat GPT it and see if it's going to pop up on them. They're not doing the work that they used to do. So don't always listen to everything that they're saying. Fact check.
Well,
Fact.
Jasmine Crockett said something on an interview that I thought was very intriguing, uh, and I agree with her. She said, "What we've got to look at is not the ability to choose someone who looks identical to me. We have to be able to uh, represent in a manner that just gives them the opportunity to choose. They may
Mhm.
choose someone whose pigmentation is 10 times lighter than mine. Okay, but they at least made a choice. And what bothers me about what's going on right now is that we act as though tragedy is not an equal opportunist. It
Mhm.
is. When you go look at that flood zone, those people, there are babies. I don't care what they look like. Their babies are precious, and you're telling me because this person was a Democrat, this person was a Republican, that your heartstrings weren't tugged when you see this mama crying because her baby will not be coming to her house? When I was, I was asked once before when the mass shootings happened down south. They said, "Do you have a statement?" And I did everything to stay away from it. Diane was like, "Hey, you need to say something." I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to get involved with this." But then they asked me my statement, and I get up in the morning or get up at night, and I just walk my house, and I would look at my children and make sure they're safe, check my doors, and any guests that I have in my house. And the thought came to me, when this baby was dying from some fool who shot them, do you really think that parent gave 2 cents about what the Democrats and Republicans are talking about? They didn't. So I'm really big about, guys, if you have a great ideal, then put it forth and let's get it challenged. But don't go in and try to redistrict because your ideals are not that good. No, if you're that sold on what you say America needs, if you're that sold on what you said Texans need, put it to the challenge. Because it's easy for me to be cheerleaded with people who look like me, who run in the same party as me, but challenge my statements. See if what I'm saying is true. Because if it is, then you got somebody. If it's not, then it either make me do one or two things: go sit in the corner, or it make me change my philosophy. But we got to stop letting people off the hook. This
Yeah.
mess has come because we have celebrated nonsense, and it's time to stop. That's why I'm running for office. That's why I'm running for justice of peace. Because when you come to my court, baby, I don't care if you was a Republican or Democrat, you will get the same treatment based on the facts that you present. Period. It is justice for all. We are all Texans. We all live in America. It's about, look here, we got to represent each other in a manner that brings back integrity. That's a
That's
lost
right.
word that we've lost.
And
There's this fault.
accountability.
Yeah, there's a false narrative in politics, which is like, oh, you just vote along party lines, right? Or vote for what people look like, right? Identity politics. Just
Mhm.
find somebody that tells you what you want to hear and vote for them.
Mhm.
And the reality is, individuals matter, right? Because at the end of the day, in anybody in government, they should be willing to listen and talk and deal with all sides, represent all sides, and individuals matter, candidates matter. I thank all of you for what you do, and we got to get beyond partisanship. It's hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's not what it's about.
When I was growing up, my dad taught me something. He said, Diane, he goes, if you see somebody that needs help, you go help them.
Yep.
And he goes, now, if they don't say thank you, you don't have to help them. He goes, but I would, which means, Diane, you better too. He didn't say if they were Republican, don't help. If they Democrat, they were the only ones you have to ask about political. They didn't say that. He said, if you see people that need help, you help.
Right.
Where has the world gone? I mean, are you going to go save your neighbor from a fire if you see it? Or are you going to ask, hey, what is your political party? Did you vote?
Hey, since you said that, that did happen over here in my neighborhood.
Mhm.
I was on the phone talking to a true story. I was on the phone talking to my dad, and of course, he and I always debating about basketball because I love the Mavericks, and I thought Dirk was the bum. He couldn't do no wrong. And
I'm a big Mavs fan, Steph. So there we go.
Yeah,
right, we're
yeah.
going to a Mavs game. So there was a fire. The neighbor behind had put was doing a grass burning trash, and he wound up setting not only her fence on fire, but the neighbor next to her. And I'm gonna tell you something. Somebody was Republican. I didn't think about it, and one could have been an independent or a non-voter. At that time, I didn't think about that. So here I am. Oh, Dad, I got to cut this short. Somebody done set a fire to the fence, and
Mhm.
I'm running and I'm hopping the fence. Now, y'all, I was in my late 40s up here jumping the fence. I jumped the fence, grabbed a hold of the water hose, and the other neighbor, we're sitting up here trying to put the fire out, trying to save the neighbor's fence, and that's what you have to do. And it didn't matter what color they were, it didn't matter what religion they were, it didn't matter what their views are on politics. All it mattered was I gotta help them because I don't want that fire to jump in and burn my house down or somebody get killed
It
because
was
they
the
don't
right
dress
thing to
nice.
do.
That's
And
what
that's the
America's supposed to be
danger.
all about. Service
Right.
before self, right?
And
All that's what it's about.
that's the danger of these maps. They
Hmm.
do not take the spirit of what the citizens have asked for. That's why I do, and I applaud them. Please understand, I'm running for judicial office, and I'm supposed to be neutral, and I am neutral. But wrong is just straight up wrong. So I applaud them leaving. Why? Because those maps do not take in account what our citizens have asked for. They don't.
No,
And
Yeah,
so, if you want to be fair about this thing, then listen to the people and do what they've asked because they are the ones that puts us in the seats.
and first
that's
of all,
right.
bring me new data to look at, and let's do it fairly. If you're going to
Well,
redistrict,
the data's going to show that they're wrong. How you take
exactly.
66% of people who are majority minority and you come up with seats like, come on now, the
Yeah,
Well,
math
this
just doesn't
this
math.
is this is the problem is,
yeah.
absolute power corrupts absolutely. Republicans have been in power for way too long. They're used to passing things that aren't popular with the public. I mean, these school vouchers, not popular with the public. I mean, I think 80+ percent definitely don't want school vouchers, and here we are ultra focused on them here, right?
Yeah.
Well, we all want Care County to get the help it needs, all of us. Was that what we're focused on? Absolutely not. And instead, what we're doing is redistricting, which is like totally un-Texan to be
Yeah.
doing it because Trump asked for it. I mean, talk about the state that's supposed to fight for states' rights and like, oh, executive branch, get out of my state. And here
Yeah.
we are. It's a betrayal of just democratic values. It's a betrayal of Texas values. And That's why our representatives are willing to risk jail and willing to leave their families, because it's that big an issue. It's that big a betrayal of our values.
And trust me, our leaders that left, they did not want to leave. And they do not want to be going to jail and getting handcuffed and stuff, because it's scary times, because you don't know if that police officer that's coming to get them is going to treat them right. You know what I mean? So we're in a situation where, Greg Abbott, you are the governor of this state. You should have, even though I'm trying not to be mean, but you should stand 10 toes down for Texans and say, get the hell out of my state. This is my state. I'm gonna run it the way how I want to. We already have a map that's drawn. We're gonna stick to this until 5 years. That's what you should have said. You should back your Texan people, because we put you in office and it looks like we're going to be taking you out of office because you're not doing right for the people.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And we're going to go back on Mr. Cheeseman before we end this. He just put another tariff to India, and y'all know most of our call centers are from different countries. So now you're going to make our product even higher than what it already is, because it's not hurting technically them. It's going to hurt us, the people, because we're the ones that's using a lot of foreign things in this country. You're not making it fair. You're putting people out of work. Those warehouses are going to wind up closing down. And let's not even go about the truck drivers, because this is affecting
True.
them big time.
Big time. Big time.
So I'm like, what are you doing? Are you trying to destroy the country bit by piece? And do what? You're going to
it
have a
really
bunch
just
of people.
Yeah, it really just shows just how disconnected Trump is. It's interesting, and it shouldn't really come as a surprise, given that the last time Donald Trump was president, he was pushing tariffs, and the reality is we Americans pay for the tariffs, not the other countries, almost every time.
Yeah.
And it's just so obvious how Trump just does not get that. He just does not get that. He's tried the tariffs before; it did more damage than good. He's doing it again, and it's mind blowing. But that's who Trump is.
Do you think it's a learning disability that he might have?
Sorry, Steph, what'd you say?
Do you think it's a learning disability that he might have?
Well, that's one disability.
I think I don't underestimate him.
Yeah.
I mean, tariffs are an act of war, and what they really are is a power play, right? So the right reason to implement tariffs is when you're very carefully trying to, discourage Americans from importing lower level goods into American industry. You're trying to foster American industry to make the lower level goods as opposed to import them. But that is like a plan that should be rolled out very, very carefully, because it pisses off allies, it hurts American businesses, it hurts American consumers. And instead, this has just been the most reckless rollout ever. And there's so much fallout. I mean, we haven't felt the fallout yet. That's the problem. I mean, the fallout's coming. What shocks me is how many people are applauding all the tariff revenue as if it's this amazing thing. It's another tax. They estimate $1,500 a year per person in tariff revenue, which is a tax. So they went and they gave us temporary tax cuts on one side. They raised taxes on the other via tariffs while pissing off our partners and hurting our reputation in the world. For what? Basically to force people to come bend the knee to Trump. Because when you're a big company, an Apple or a Toyota, and you want to avoid these tariffs, you got to go march in and kiss the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about small businesses. Small businesses are going to get hurt. Most businesses are going to get hurt. But it's great for Trump because he gets to get these major multi-billionaire CEOs to come in and kiss the ring And Trump doesn't care what it does to America. He doesn't.
Exactly.
He's getting
Exactly.
rich.
Yeah.
Okay, can I bring up one other thing that just surprised me? Stephanie, we talked
Sure.
about this earlier. The oh my God moment that Marjorie Taylor Greene had this week.
Oh,
He's
see, you
having a
trying
lot
to
of
make
those.
me
Yeah, but she
Yeah.
finally
mad.
decided, you mean women aren't being treated right? What the hell? I'm like going, are you waking up now? What coffee did you drink?
I think she quit drinking. I think she quit drinking that Jim Jones Kool-Aid. I think that's what it was. She she felt like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, you know, and I feel like sometimes the people are being hypnotized to
Mhm.
think, you know, how you can just hypnotize a person or use keywords and they just go crazy, and then some of them are breaking out of their chain like, wait a minute, what just happened here? That's what MTG just had. She had a wait a minute, what just happened here? We're not being treated right. Girl,
Well,
did you
and,
realize we had lost
And
our right?
women ain't getting paid as much
and
as men. When did that start? I was like going,
well, and let me speak directly to the citizens who may be listening here, who are not running for office, but who we're asking to vote for us. There are three things. Once this came across as a philosophy, I was like, wow, this is good. Three things you all need to really, really, really pay attention to. When somebody comes asking for your vote, whether they're elected or a candidate, there are three things. If you do this, you'll seldom make a mistake. First of all, weigh their words. Look at what they're saying. Evaluate what they're telling you. Go back and watch their actions and their reactions. Watch it because that will indicate to you what's going on. And then lastly, wait for the fruit of what they do. If they are never successful at anything that they try to pursue, that's not your person. But it requires you to be disciplined, it requires you to be patient, and it requires you to be vigilant. So when you go to that voter booth, you say, this person said what they meant and they did it. When the negative came, because all of us are going to get hit with some negatives one at some point in this race. When it comes, look at their actions and how did they react, and then watch and see what they can bring to the table. If they can't bring anything to the table, darling, they can't do anything for you. So, guys, listen to me. Ladies, listen to me. Young people, listen to me. Don't just go in there and just blindly and haphazardly select the name. Watch their words, watch their actions, their reactions, and see what they bring to the table. I
Is it
guarantee
your
you, and I'm not
elevator
just,
pitch?
well, I guess this is. I'm saying to you that if you watch what I'm saying, I said I wasn't going nowhere when I lost the first race. I said I'm not going anywhere. So I got appointed to the board of Saginaw, where I'm looking at. I'm still holding permits and speaking to persons. I'm part of the Rotary Club. I'm still going out and do duties out in the community. I'm an adjunct professor. I'm talking to students who feel like they can't do it, and I'm speaking to law enforcement persons. Watch their words, see their actions, reactions, and watch their fruit. My name is Rodney Lee. I'm running for justice of the peace. I am your man. Let's do this together.
Ooh, okay. You're gonna get that.
woo!
Hold on a second. Let me
I
do it.
like it,
I'm
Rodney.
close.
Yeah.
So, y'all, we have gone. It is 8:23. I can't believe, Dale, what's going on? I can't keep time now. But this has been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I look forward to bringing y'all back on here again because you know what? We're going to have Candace coming on. Let's talk about stuff until 2026. And then we're going to start it back up again. We want you to come on this show and talk about your platform and what can you do for the people because the people want the truth. They're tired of this sugarcoating stuff. They want the truth. They want to know what can you do for them right now that's affecting their household right now. So I'm going to give y'all the 2 minute elevator.
I already
Right?
took
You
mine.
ready
I
for
did
it?
mine already. So I already did mine. So you two go for it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to bring up Diane, who is running for Texas House District 97. Diane, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Diane Simons, once again, I am so glad to be here, Stephanie. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed spending all my time today with you, and this evening as well. You know, I know we're hurting, y'all, uh, in so many different ways. Each one of us in our own way. And all I want to know is, or let you know, is that I'm going to be there for you. My door will always be open because I know what it's like. When you starving and you got to make a choice between taking your medication or food. Well, sometimes you got to take your medication and you get hungry. You know, I know people are losing their house and they don't know what to do with evictions. And it's scary when your county sitting there and taking away housing solutions. I want to be there for you. I want to help find solutions for you. I know that 725 is not a livable wage. I know that. I say $20, but hey, and then add more every year. I know that people want to follow their passions. I want to be able to let you follow your passions and provide 10,000 a year for trade school, college, university in the state of Texas. Why? Because you deserve it. Texas deserves it. And the only way we're going to grow is growing together. But first of all, we have to be able to be given opportunity. And right now, that's what I want to do. I want to provide opportunity for everybody so everybody can be the best. And you can find me at texas97.com.
All right. I got to get you on here. Evan, you are getting ready to run for Congress. You are running for Congress, and I'm trying to get it to highlight you. Oh, there you go. For Congress.
There we go.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, yeah, thank you again for having me. I've loved this conversation. I'm Evan Hunt, running for Congress in Texas's third district against Keith Self. Uh, Look, I'm a 20-year Air Force combat veteran. I'm a retired lieutenant colonel. Have over a decade of business experience helping companies, small and big, grow in technologies that protect our nation. I've been to the Hill to brief staffers. I've been around the world to brief government officials. I've been to the Pentagon to brief generals. And I'm a Texas family man. I got two kids in the public schools, 16 and 18. My son's just graduated. He's going to UT Arlington. So I'm really focused on our community. I want to represent our community. And I'm the guy to beat Keith Self. And we have a great kickoff event in Collin County tomorrow. Live music, free drinks. Come join us. Electevanhunt.com. You can go to events and it's right there. We've had a really strong fundraising first quarter, and money matters, and we outraised Keith Self. So, um, look, everything's winnable. I don't care where they draw the lines. They can redraw the lines, they can't redraw the truth. And we got to think bold. We got to be bold. We got to flip districts, and we got to take our country back because the alternative is not acceptable. So, thank you for having me.
All right, we finna get ready to put Mr. Rodney Lee back up there again. I know he's already done it, but Rodney, come on now. Act right. Tell
No.
us what it is.
Well, again, thank you all for those of you viewing now. Thank you for spending the time with us. My name is Rodney Lee. I'm running for Justice of the Peace Precinct 4. You can contact me. It's real simple. My email is rodneylee for JOP at gmail.com. RODNEYLEEFORJOP at gmail.com. My website is Rodney Lee for JOP.com. RODNEYLEEFORJOP.com. As I alluded to earlier, I'm retired Navy, 22 years veteran. I am an adjunct professor, retired Tarrant County probation officer, soon to be retired educator. After 20 years with the particular district, I don't want to name it exactly, but worked 20 years in the school district. Guys, I am what I say I am. And so I would ask that you would do those three things. Weigh my words, fact check me, make sure I'm telling you the truth. Go back and see what my actions and my reactions are to various subjects. And then lastly, see the fruit that I brought forth. Ask the people in the various neighborhoods. I'm running in the White Summer, River Oaks, Lake Worth, Azle, and Saginaw. I'm speaking to you. Check me out. If you like me, then vote for me. If you don't, then get you a police chief who can continue to serve as your justice of the peace. But you need somebody like me, somebody who has you at their heart. So thank you.
Oh, right. Dale, you're up.
Oh, okay, sure. Hey, guys, doing? I'm Dale Frey. I stayed kind of quiet today because I want to give the other candidates opportunities to speak, and I want to thank the candidates for showing up. It really means a lot to step up and run for office. I know it's a lot of personal sacrifice, and I'm so thankful to see that there are good people who are standing up to represent. Over here in Denton County, we had 3 out of 5 state house representatives run unimposed cycle before last. So we definitely always need candidates to run because we don't have democracy when we don't have candidates on the ballot. That said, there's a couple of things I want to plug. I want to plug Progressive Toastmasters. You can go onto Facebook and look up. I'm sorry, it's Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. Put that into Facebook. We meet every single Monday, and this isn't your typical Toastmasters club. It's a Toastmasters club that's a safe space for Democrats, which you might not necessarily always have in general Toastmasters clubs. A lot of people who've run for office in the past have shown up to this club and still do. I know Stephanie does sometimes. We actually have a city council member in Carrollton who shows up as well sometimes. So if you want to see local leaders or just want to have a safe space to talk about democratic policies and ideologies, then come over to Progressive Toastmasters. We meet every single Monday, 7 p.m. in Flower Mound, in Denton County, Texas. Go to Facebook, look at Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. Another plug I want to do just real quick is for the Frisco Democratic Club. We are a club that has 2 events every month. We have a breakfast club that's actually coming up on Monday, and then we have a happy hour once a month as well. You come to friscodemocrats.org. You can see our events there on the front page of our website. Evan, I know that you've shown up a couple times to our club, and when candidates show up to our club at our happy hour, I give them the microphone with my amp, and I give every candidate always an opportunity to introduce themselves to the audience. So if you want to see a safe space to just have a beer and a burger with, and also meet Democratic candidates who are running for office, friscodemocrats.org. Safe space for Democrats. I'll just do a fast plug on this one because I haven't actually signed the paperwork for this yet, but I'm intending to run for Denton County Commissioner for Precinct 2 here in Denton County. The reason that we need to flip this seat is because right now we have a problem in Denton County. We do not have countywide voting on election day. While we have countywide voting in early voting, during the early voting period, it's not on the election day, the last day to vote. And this confuses a lot of people. This disenfranchises a lot of people. There's a lot of college kids who said to our clerks, man, like I got class, I guess I just can't make it to vote this time. There was one guy who was in a breathing machine, had to be hydraulically lifted in his wheelchair out of his car, went in to vote, and then was told, I'm sorry, sir, you can't vote here. You're not registered to vote here. You have to go to that other location over there, right? Now, I don't know if that guy actually made it out to vote, but when we have early voting, we have countywide voting only during the early voting period, but not on the last day to vote on election day, that's just election interference. And that's something that we need to fix. And that's our county commissioners who need to change that. We, at the Denton County Democratic Party, many precinct chairs, including myself, have gone to our county commissioners court and we have said we need countywide voting on election day, and they have not budged on that. So when our county commissioners do not listen to us, unfortunately, it does come to the point where we have to use the elections as a utility to change the tide of policies here in Denton County. I'll be talking more about that at the Carrollton Democratic Club, by the way. The Carrollton Democratic Club, you can look them up. They meet, I believe it's every 3rd Wednesday. So I'll be there in person and talking about my campaign for that. That said, Stephanie, thank you very much for having me. Candidates, thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot to us.
Well, let's see.
Oh, are you there, Stephanie? Okay.
I am here. Hi, everybody. So I just want to say thank you for everyone that came onto the show today. I really appreciate you. I'm gonna put slide y'all all on here just in case you want to do your screenshot. And I'm gonna take myself off of here because I see my logo is in your face Rodney.
Okay.
But I just love that the fact that you guys are on here, and I know I need to quit saying you guys, but it's a Louisiana thing. But I really appreciate everyone coming on here and taking out the time in your life to come on this show and let people know who you are. It's very much appreciated, and I want to be able to bring you all back because 2026 is like right around the corner.
Mhm.
And if you are a candidate and you want to be able to come on here and to be able to let people see who you are and hear your plans and your thoughts, come on, hit me up at I got so many different things. Hit me up at Stephanie Draper. Just find me. I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Let's Talk About It on Facebook. You can find me anywhere. Just look up Stephanie Draper. You'll be able to find me. But next week, we're going to have Dr. Kenneth Morgan on here, along with a couple of more folks we're going to put on here. So you never know. And I'm working on trying to get a special guest on here, so we'll be able to talk to some more candidates, and hopefully I can get one of our legislators that's handling business for us. I'm gonna work on trying to get one of them to come on so they can really address the issues that we're having. So if y'all know them, know where they at, tell them, hey, holla at me, Vincent, holla at me. But I want to just say thank y'all again for coming on here. Y'all, my viewers, thank you for viewing in today. Make sure you go on YouTube and subscribe to the channel, and thank y'all for y'all support. I really appreciate it. And I love all the comments that y'all did. So once again, thank y'all. And we'll be back next Wednesday. And who knows, I might pop up and do another little special thing on a Monday or a Friday, but you never know about me. But you know what? I thank y'all and I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful week. And if what Democrats do when we fight, we what?
We win.
Win.
See,
Oh yeah.
y'all finna get they gonna primary you before you even get
You
in the
already
seat.
know. See, look at that.
Okay, I'm gonna say it again. I'm finna take myself off of here.
Um.
When we fight,
We win.
We
Yeah.
win.
Okay,
who
we got
wants
to do it. Oh, I want to win. Thanks.
Bye. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.